So now we are back to here. Let's report back to... Yeah, Fresno. Frenzo? Whatever your name is. Frenzo.
Doubt is for the weak.
I'm trying to talk. Stop crowding on people. There we go. Captain Frenzo has acquired a few wounds since your last conversation. Half of his ear is gone, and you notice that he is wearing bloodied bandages under his uniform. Seeing you, he quickly injects himself with a stimulant and straightens. How may I serve you, Captain? What happened to you? Were you in a shootout? I finished inspecting this bay. I was attacked. The forces have been appropriating ration cards from workers returning from their ships. Why is that? Are you short on provisions? That's what I want to know. But first, were you in a shootout? Yes, there's been a raid on a local gang. We've finally cleared out the scoundrels who were smuggling goods to neighboring compartments. No one escaped. Frenzo permits himself a brief smile and of grim satisfaction. The forces have been appropriating ration cards from workers returning from their ships. Why is that? Are you short on provisions? The compartment has just enough food to avoid starvation, Lord Captain. This is why the enforcers are making sure that no serf has more cards than they're supposed to. They used to rip out people's tongues for it, but I reduced the punishment to simply beating the thieves and confiscating all their cards. The orders are to give those cards to workers who are starving due to a lack of work shifts. Not that it helps them much, but it's better than nothing. Frenzo scoffs. Are there enforcers guilty of misappropriating the confiscated items? Yes. Do those caught stealing receive severe punishment? Absolutely. Yes, I found the gun runners. Well, we found thieves who were trying to loot guns, and then saying that they were helping out by stopping other gangs from growing in the area. And so I killed all of them. The Nine-Fingered Gang, or whatever they were. I was attacked. Frenzo lets out a menacing growl as his face fills with blood. Who dared? Yeah, both. I encountered mutants in the Pestilence Pit. They seem to be under the influence of unholy powers. Yep. And also thieves in one of the technical rooms. I've already dispatched them. Both are accurate. I guess we'll start with the first one. No. I don't know if we'll be able to tell them both. Tell them about the thieves. There were thieves in one of the technical rooms. I already dispatched them. Thieves. I just had an enforcer hanged for dealing with a local gang. I'd hoped that the lesson had been learned. Frenzo winces as if from pain. By the Emperor, Lord Captain, why must you be so unconcerned with your own safety? It's our duty to find and shoot lawless scum. Throne, you are going to become the best enforcer in the bay at this rate. I encountered mutants in the Pestilence Pit. They seem to be under the influence of unholy powers. You went to the Pestilence Pit? You. Into the Pestilence Pit. Frenzo stares off into the distance as he speaks. Pardon me, Lord Captain. I just can't even begin to find the words I would use if I had to tell the Master-at-Arms that you had perished in there. He rubs his temple wearily. The enforcers do regular checks to see if there are any dangerous blight-stricken rejects hiding at the bottom of the bay. I implore you, Lord Captain, leave this job to us. I finished inspecting this bay. The captain raises a wary eyebrow. Will there be any orders based on the inspection's conclusions? Okay, we have an iconoclast option, which would cost us fuel and uniform kits. The workers are to be provided with everything they need to service the freight line properly. Food and medicine will be delivered to the bay, and you are to demote any enforcers found to be abusing their authority to the status of workers. I'm not against that. Only harsh measures will bring order to the bay. Establish an execution quota, strip all corrupt enforcers of their rank, and burn away all crime. Any idlers are to be given a job, and if they cannot do anything useful, servitorize them, organize mandatory sermons, and spread the word of faith. Brutal, but I get it. I mean, the execution quota is kind of crazy. Just like, you will kill 10 people this week. Find the worst and remove them. Is just kind of crazy. But strip all corrupt enforcers of the rank is great. Burn away all crime is great. Idlers be given a job. People who can't do anything useful, servitorize them. Is a bit rough, but also the people here who don't work or can't work for whatever reason, having them just remain here in squalor And apparently, eventually going to the ruinous powers is not ideal. Reticle smile insinuatingly. The source of all this compartment's woes are hunger and poverty, which are driving those people to commit petty crimes. I'm sure you would have done something by now, but there are certain rules that you have to follow that are simply too limiting, isn't that right? I'm satisfied in all regards. Carry on in your duty as before. Yeah, Iconoclast is definitely the nicer option. But I can't say that dogmatic is necessarily wrong either. Some of the dogmatic options are just super wrong. Like, they go way too far in my mind. This one feels okay. The execution quota is a bit crazy, but I'm sure there are in fact people worthy of execution in here. Stripping corrupt enforcers of the rank, yeah. I'm going to go with the dogmatic because it's one of the dogmatics that I don't think is pushing too far over the line. The captain nods eagerly. Will do. We will increase the pressure on the untrustworthy element, conduct searches and interrogations to uncover criminals. We'll herd the rabble to prayer services and remind them that your lordship's law is a stern one. We gain the Faultless Transport. The flagship's weapons deal 5% more damage and gain 5% critical hit chance. By virtue of strict discipline, the freight line delivers munitions with only minimal delay. The crew of the artillery bays now have more time to calibrate and maintain the ship's weapons. Perfect. I've been told the next bay has a labor shortage. We are going to deploy our workforce reserve there, in shackles if need be. Sounds good. Be steadfast in your duty, Captain Frenzo. The Emperor protects, Lord Captain. For the Emperor. Yeah. Whoa, 3 days passed. That's... Lord Captain, here to report, your orders have been carried out. The compartment is already operating according to the new procedure. Perfect. So does that mean we can look around and see things are changed?
Victory awaits.
And I guess I kind of want to wander around and see what's different. Alright, we still have this area that's still burning. So that's... didn't change much. I brought you lunch, dearest, just the way you like it. People call me a widow and a servitor's wife, but I know you're still in there, my love. If you would just look at me. Oh. This guy's wife is a servitor now. That's... sad. Hopefully that's not the guy we met earlier who was... had such a lovely meeting between him and his wife and how they care for each other.
I won't tolerate.
Because I'd feel slightly bad because they seem like a nice couple that were both hardworking. Where are you taking us? What are the chains for? Bay SL M18, and the chains are to make sure that when you get there, you man the machinery and make no attempt to escape. You wanted work, you got it. Yep. Congratulations, we have found employment for you. You'll be able to get food for, you know, necessities because you'll be working people.
None shall stand in my way.
Let's see. What else can we see that stands out? Scribe here. Interference in section 00102 again. Pile of papers containing denunciations in exchange for a ration card. People willingly report the misdeeds. Oh. The misdeeds of their neighbors. No. Scroll up. Willingly report the misdeeds of their neighbors, acquaintances, and even relatives to the enforcers. Yeah, that's usually a bad sign of any society if people are reporting on their neighbors and family. It's never a good sign. Like, good societies, it's not. No. Long live the rogue trader.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Alright, anything down here of note? Doesn't look like it. This guy's still hiding out here. What do we have across here? So now we're getting into... no, this is where the thieves were. Where... Here. Okay. This is where the more rundown area was. This is where we had our blade fight. Oh, there's our two sworded goons who were fighting before. The compartment needs more enforcers, so consider yourselves drafted. We'll wash you off, drum up a bit more discipline into you, and put you to work. Seems like a reasonable choice. Did you find the crates at the big gruel pot? Maybe. You'll be giving us batons and uniforms. We'll be real-life enforcers? I mean, you guys seem skilled. You will when you realize that duty and order always comes first, and I'll make sure you do. Well, good job, you guys are getting upgraded to be enforcers. Stolen rations, fuel, weapons, hand it all over now, or it's the firing squad for you. We gave up what we had already. Don't kill us, please. We have a hidden shrine up here, I think it was. Oh. I'll talk. There are 3 rations, a handful of bolts, and half a low stick between the ventilation grid. Take it all. Just don't kill me. Yeah, you guys probably shouldn't have tried lying to the enforcers. We've given them lots of power. Greetings, your lordship. Theft. Oh. Guy's just hanging here. Defiance. Indolence. Defiance. Indolence. So they just have people hung up with signs of their crimes. Greetings, your lordship. Long live the rogue trader. Oh, we've got a bunch of dead vat guards. They weren't dead before. Wonder what happened there. Oh, I guess the enforcers just removed all of them. And we now have enforcers here. Does that mean that the foreman, yeah, the foreman's dead. Well, that feels a little bad. The foreman seemed like a good guy. Apparently I missed these goods. Stolen autocannon. Takes high strength, and we don't have any high strength people. I mean, the problem with this is a weapon that requires high strength. Like, I never make strength a high priority of a ranged character. Strength is high on my melee characters, but they don't need a two-handed ranged weapon. Do I have anyone? Yeah, so Abelard could use it. Does terrible damage, good armor penetration, but high rate of fire. I don't know. Feels like a single shot from the stub carbide is better than 8 shots of 4 to 6 damage. You also need someone with the special skills to use high rate of fire weapon. Yeah. Just doesn't... It's not a build that makes sense to me. Yeah, I understand why they would replace the vat guards and the foreman with actual enforcers to watch over this. But it didn't seem like they were actually doing anything wrong. they were trying to help. Alright, now we are back down here, where it looks like not much has changed. You still have a bunch of people who are sick and dying, and no enforcers around.
A new challenge for me?
Yeah, doesn't look like anything's changed here. Oh, you are new. We've got an enforcer here. How could they cast me out? One of their own! Probably you were abusing your power then. Like, we gave specific orders. If you abused your power to steal from the lower down people, then yep, sucks to suck. I think that's everything in this area. Overall, I think it's in a better state than it was before we arrived. So,
I'll lay claim to the stars.
success. We've improved things. The foreman was okay, the guards were smuggling weapons. That's true. But I thought they were more... They had the weapons just to enforce order for the food.
None shall stand in my way.
Alright, back to the bridge. A lot less people, that's true. But also some of that is that we've shipped off the extras that were just existing to go work in other compartments where there were shortages. Which seems like a smart thing to do anyway. If there's a compartment with shortages, they should have acquired people already from other compartments that had excess. Not sure why it took me coming down there to say, hey, do that. Shift people around if necessary to make sure everyone is fully staffed. Alright, we have about an hour left of the stream. Let's go talk to Cabela. I am going completely the wrong way. Got turned around. Cabela's down here. Hopefully she has something to say.
Take heed, Nemo. Our blessed Domin honors us with a visit. The one who delivered this ark from the curse of your existence.
The malformed skull in Cabela's hands has been polished to a pale sheen. Its empty eye sockets pose a question that can only be answered in death. Okay, we don't have anything further to say with her.
May the Undying One shroud your footsteps from the faithless.
It surprises me, though, that she didn't have anything further to say when we finished that whole DLC. Also, that she wasn't required in that DLC. Like, when we went down there, we didn't have to take her with us. Which would have been shocking to not have her. Do you have anything further to say? Yes, actually. Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? Have you recovered from Nemesis' attack yet? You came very close to death in the chapel. Janus puts a hand on his chest, right where the gruesome wound used to be. The Courageans spent hours fighting for my life, and I have to say, they are earning their keep. They've promised to leave the heroic-looking scar, although admittedly, I much prefer calluses from an autoquill. Okay, nothing there is needed. Wondering if I can buy more of the mining equipment. I think we can do business through him. Is it order shipping and transportation of some goods? Yes. So if we want to trade with you, I'm just gonna go through all the options because we have lots of good. If I selected all, yeah, we can get 30,000 points, which obviously I'm not going to do. Power Claymore. Imagine giving that to Cabela. Big ol' fancy power weapon. Grants 10 willpower. If dogmatic, they also gain fellowship. Oh, that's what I have already. Camaraderie badge. When the wearer hits an enemy with a melee attack, the wearer's nearest ally gains 12 temporary wounds. That's cool. Force of Light Carapace. Base armor. 10% dodge. Plus 10 agility. Some neat stuff there. But no, we can't get any more of the mining equipment from you. Which strikes me as odd. Yeah, this is all Eldari stuff. Or various Xeno equipment. I don't really have any need for. No, none of that. Ooh. Staff of Endless Flame. The wield of the staff gets the Inferno ability. The ability also has Heroic Act. For every 2 creatures suffering burning in combat, the power level of the staff is increased by 1. Wow. I mean, that seems nice. Because you have staffs that are for the different branches of being a psyker, but we haven't found a pyromancy staff yet. And it looks like that's what this one is, although it doesn't specifically state it's pyromancy. Versus some of the others were clearly stating. And lastly, the Imperial Navy. Okay, you just sell ship upgrades. We need a new Auspex at some point. Okay, so this would give us more armor. This does seem like it's just better all around. Like each of these options. 5 plasma torpedoes. 19 damage warheads. Do you have Auspex or whatever scanning equipment? Doesn't seem like it. Macro battery, plasma, torpedoes. What are you? This is our auger array, so this would be an improvement. We'd have to get all the way up to rank 8, which is crazy. %98 hit chance, a 5% critical chance. Like, some of these sound really, really good. But it'll take a long while to get up there. Let's boost your reputation, though. Wow, you want very little. Specifically, only Eldari trophies, Drukhari trophies, Void Heretic trophies, and Pirate trophies. That is a very limited subset. So I will just give you what we have of that, because you don't take many options. That got us all the way to rank 5, actually. That's not bad. Let's buy all the things. Then we can look into upgrading our ship. Ooh, flak shots. Apparently that's something special. You can fill your flagship's arsenals with various ammunitions that enhance the capabilities of the flagship's weapons. The flak ammo arsenal allows you to use a special flak projectile with macro cannons. These projectiles have explosive warheads that deal area damage in a 1-cell radius around a selected cell. Okay. Flak shots are especially efficient against enemy torpedoes and small wings of attack crafts. Cool. Wish there was a buy all option. Yeah. Would be nice. Whenever you're in situations like this where you're just going through and buying everything. Do I want to raise my reputation with anyone else? Casa Bellica, we're still pretty low. I think Drusians, we have several things we want to upgrade on some of our colonies that we can't because our reputation isn't high enough. So I am inclined to raise your reputation. So let's sort. I wish there was a sort by things they want the most. Like, we can sort by type, specification. Like, I assume, let's sort by name, just so I can see. I'm assuming we have holy gifts and jewelry somewhere, or maybe we've already sold those. Yeah, we've got tons of holy gifts. I want a sorting method that puts the holy gifts at top, followed by jewelry. And I don't think... Oh, cost. Never mind, they have it. Because I don't want to give away all of my things, but... Oh, we have tons of holy gifts. Okay, maybe we'll give quite a few to you then. Because I want to save some for other people that also want holy gifts. Ship components, you'll also offer a reasonable amount for. So we'll go with something like that. That gets us up to 6, which unlocks quite a bit. I do want to see about the power claymore. Cloak of Retribution. I think we've already looked at that before. 15% bonus to damage against enemies that dealt damage to the wearer this round. Be something that would be interesting for Abelard. Or some of our other melee people. Or Pascal, because Pascal takes hits all the time. Often resolutions to a crisis depend on having some cargo items, such as holy gifts. Yeah. We'll take the crack grenades. Heavy bolter. Again, we've got Argenta, who would be great to give a heavy bolter to, but the strength requirement is absurd. And we're not going to give her tons of strength because she's never in melee. And boosting her strength by like 20 points just so she can carry a fancier bolter seems crazy. Solution power armor. From my understanding, a lot of Sisters Battle have power armor. In like actual lore. It's a lesser form of power armor than what we have with the Space Marines, but it's still power armor. But for whatever reason, Argenta does not have it. When the wearer hits an enemy with a melee attack, the wearer's nearest ally... Oh yeah, that's the one that heals, which I thought was cool. We'll take the multi-key. Cloak of Hatred. Each enemy killed by the wearer's area attacks increases the wearer's damage by 3% until the end of combat. We don't really have a ton of area attacks in our group. The heavy weapon skill lowers that requirement a fair bit. Does it? There's a heavy weapon skill. Alright. Let's see. If we go to Argenta, because she's the one that ideally I would give a heavy bolter to. Heavy weapon skill. I guess we'd have to wait until we can level up to see what options are available. But that's something to keep in mind. Now we just got a bunch of stuff. Cloak of Retribution. Damage to enemies that deal damage to the wearer. That's best on any of our melee characters. Do any of you not have a cloak? You don't. Pascal. If increases melee attack damage against demon enemies by +2. If they're dogmatic, the damage is increased by +4. We'll give you the retribution because you get hit a lot. And then your cloak, which is gone now. Wherever it went, here, I think is good for Heinrich's, since he does have a cloak. I thought he didn't. Being able to remove effects is probably fine. Alright. Whenever you hit with a melee attack, nearest ally gains temporary wounds. Sure. You can have that. When the wearer ends their turn, they remove effects from themselves and adjacent allies. That is scary because if someone ends their turn near my main character, they could turn the fire effect off, which I would dislike. So this is slightly more armor and gives 10% dodge against human enemies, but we wouldn't get the world property of agility because we're not Death World origin. But more dodge would be nice. Is there an easy way to find out who is a Death Worlder character? Probably. Biography? Ugh, that's probably not it. Let's see. One of you has to tell me that you are... what world you're from. Imperial world. Okay. So we can see it down in origin talents. It's not going to be you. You are... Imperial world. Forsaken world. You're going to be a Forge world almost certainly. And you are... You are Voidborn. Probably Voidborn. Unknown origin homeworld. Data deleted, classified missing. Okay, I stand corrected. Imperial world probably? Yep. You are Imperial world. Okay, so we don't actually have any Death Worlders in the party. That's interesting. Then I think I will just take this for myself. Power Claymore, I think, is an interesting option for Cabela. She currently doesn't have the ability to use power weapons. Or does she? Does more damage slightly. Lots more armor penetration. But it doesn't get the laceration effect or the bleeding. So what she has right now is probably actually better. Though armor penetration is nice. What about Pascal? You certainly have power. No. Your axe is just better in every way. Alright. Lastly, we have our ship upgrades. So this is the new one. I think we'll replace... Is this... Yeah, date from newest to oldest. Because that seems like it's basically the same thing. Torpedo tubes capable of firing 4 plasma torpedoes versus 4 short burning plasma torpedoes. I don't know what the difference between the short burning plasma torpedoes are versus just the 4 plasma torpedoes. They both do 19 damage. Unsure. Medium range lance weapon dealing from 60 to 70 damage. to a chosen enemy within a wide firing arc. So the wide firing arc is probably the same as what the this one does when we use it. $60 to 70 damage better than 4 shots of 19 damage. Don't know. If all 4 hit, it does better, but probably all 4 don't hit. Let's see. Just hoping that I got something worthwhile of all the things we just bought. Protects the vessel from harm, negating 9 points of damage on the 4 and 5 on other sides, as opposed to just 4 everywhere. Well, that sounds better. 2B engine as opposed to the 2A engine. 12 speed along with strong acceleration and braking, so this is just an upgrade. Shield array. 95 points of protection for each sector. This amount is doubled against blast attacks. Very good. 120 points of protection for each sector. Ooh. 120 everywhere is probably better than 95 that's doubled conditionally. Is it? I don't know how often blast attacks occur. 120 sounds nice. This looks like... Oh, it just fills one of these arsenals, so we would either get rid of our fighter deck, which those are cool, or our maintenance deck, which increases our hull integrity by 10. Is that just telling me that we'd go down to 218 if I got rid of this? Yes. Okay, that doesn't worry me overly much. Allows flak shots to be fired from kinetic macro cannons. Too bad this is a simpler version of the Battlefleet Gothic rules. Tabletop, you could launch waves of torpedoes as a form of area of denial. Yeah. I don't know much about the tabletop ship battles, but it's not surprising that they simplified it for this game. Sure, we'll allow flak shots, whatever that means. This is better than 4 of 19 damage, because 5 is higher than 4. I can math. Wait. Is it you? Yes. So we'll replace you. And we have 2 of these available. 3 shots doing 21 damage. No. I think we're away from the new things now. Yeah, and I'm surprised I still haven't figured out how to buy more of our mining equipment. But oh well. I think we are finally ready to set off back out into the Expanse. At least to point us in a direction of where to go for next time. We finished Dargonus. We're just flying a frigate tabletop. You got 3 to 5 as a squadron and a cruiser or 2. Okay. So yeah, on the tabletop, you're not usually just flying a single ship. You're maintaining a fleet, which makes sense. Okay, so we've explored all of this, including we briefly tried going to the Imperium. Do we want to make our way up here to Votvir? Is that a high priority to do first? mean, it's part of Chapter 1, so we probably should deal with it before we go to Kiava Gamma. Even though it feels like Kiava Gamma is one of our main quests to work towards, we could work our way up here and find out what we can find out about the planet that Voltvir was dealing with. We also do need to go to Vivo 6. So yeah, probably we're going to make our way up here to deal with this stuff next time. We can start heading there now. Unsafe travel as usual. Nothing exciting happens, so let's head in. Nothing terribly exciting in the system, just a few planets. Nothing here. Just a new gas giant, that's fine. We do have a location to check out. After analyzing the auger data, the officers were surprised to discover that the planet was once covered with oceans. Long ago, an unknown cataclysm caused the seas to dry out and turned the world into a lifeless desert. The most amazing discovery of all was the skeletal remains of a colossal oceanic organisms, some large enough to be seen from orbit. Life is fragile, even for creatures this enormous. And that is it. Oh, we did upgrade our relationships with the St. Drusus, so I wonder if that opened up any new projects. It did. Dirty bureaucracy. Yeah, we needed 15,000 reputation, and we've got that now. The requisitioning of religious tithes from other worlds in the guise of the ecclesiarchy gives the opportunity to keep a portion of the proceeds. So we could raise our profit factor, and we'd get a contract available, Unquenchable Greed. The rogue trader has been contacted by a high-ranking administratum official who previously helped with reclaiming a relic of St. Cognatius from House Corda. He enjoyed the generous bribes and would like some more. In exchange for the riches requested, he promises that an error will creep into the administratum's calculations so that all provisions from the agri-world of Mercus Alpha will be shipped to Dargonus instead of the naval's orbital fortress of Dargonus 2. I don't know if I like this one, theme-wise. Cemetery of the Faithful. The foundations of an honorary cemetery for the repurpose of the dynasty's best servants will create a new tradition in the Protectorate. Blocks the project of Hallowed Railway. Glorious Mag Train. Well, we'll read that in a moment. Lord Captain's voidship gains the Blessings of the Fallen feature. The souls of crewmen laid to rest in the Foulstone Cemetery send blessings to their ship. We get +5 bonus to evasion. That sounds nice. More reputation with the Drusians, and +1 complacency in in all of our colonies. Sounds very good, but Hallowed Railway would be locked down. The glorious mag train loaded with relics will run across Foulstone, carrying the light of faith to every corner of the world, which requires reputation with explorators. Costs plasteel mechanism adamantite would give us a requiemator. Whenever the wearer kills their target with a melee attack, all enemies in a 2-cell range around the wearer suffer wearer's willpower bonus mental damage. Not crazy about that. Reputation with explorators, efficiency, complacency. So this is just a train full of relics that just wanders the world. A constantly moving rail-bound cathedral. Marvelous. Yeah. I don't know. The Cemetery for the Faithful also feels pretty good to me. The bonus evasion sounds great. Complacency everywhere is a thing. Like, complacency sounds bad, but it raises our profit factor everywhere, but decreases speed of projects everywhere. Remember reading a sci-fi book that had mobile cathedrals in it, constantly moving to keep a specific moon above them at all times? That's kind of nifty, actually. I think I'm going to go for the Cemetery of the Faithful rather than the train, the relic train. So yeah, Foulstone. Work on a Cemetery for the Faithful. And I don't know if I'm ever going to bother with dirty bureaucracy. That doesn't sound good to me. Then again, we did indulgences, which is also kind of dirty sounding to me. So who knows? Cemetery of the Faithful. Go for it. Janus. Oh, we got a reward. A cure for sloth, which gave us some stimulants. Sure. Nothing new available here, so we didn't get enough reputation to finish anything there. And you are still working on Shield of the Emperor. Perfect. Carrying on with our scans. Ooh, this is a special looking planet. Savannah World. Nothing of interest. This looks like it could be a burning world, which we are supposed to keep our eye out for. It is a burning world. These are the sects of the Imperial cult. Goodbye. These are the sects in the Imperial cult whose adherents believe transgressors will be punished after death on a burning planet. This world could serve as one such purgatory. Was it a rumor that we're supposed to be keeping an eye out for burning worlds? Yeah. Casabalica's ship is seeking burning worlds and is willing to pay for information on them. The purpose of their search is unknown. Yeah, so we'll want to keep an eye out for these burning worlds. Yeah, the pop-ups are weirdly quick to vanish. Some dialogue in this game, I guess in all Owlcat games, hangs around for far too long, but some of it, yeah, does just disappear too quickly. They haven't quite timed those to how I would like them timed. Let's move on to Narmer 4. Oh. I could spend a bunch to make it safer. 2 points. I think I would actually... Well, I could go down here and then travel up, but I'd still have to spend a point to make that safer. But I'm not actually opposed to that. We spent a ton of points recently, so I don't really want to spend a ton more unnecessarily. In the middle of the warp jump, our sensors detected an approaching void ship similar to ours in size, but of greater tonnage. The unidentified vessel did not respond to our hails and kept its course, approaching us at high speed. Agility, try to avoid the collision, or ballistic skill, fire upon the unidentified vessel. We have a much better chance to succeed with firing upon it, but I think I would rather try and dodge in the hopes that we can find out more before we open fire. The unplanned maneuver was completed without any casualties or damage. The unidentified vessel, or perhaps it was a warp mirage, passed us by and made no attempts to follow us. Oh, Dargonus has begun a new stage of development. Not that button. That button. Dargonus. Lord Captain, we've received a report from Dargonus. Some common folk from the now ruined Scipion 84249 have succumbed to the heresy of defiance, forming into gangs known as the Engine Vandals. They now ride across the wastes on wasteland-adapted cleaning Goliaths. They have declared themselves outside the law, raiding the hive's outskirts, only to escape retribution in the toxic wastelands. Many of them did not want to obey your more than equitable decision to send them to the restoration site of Scipion, and thus they have fled the labor settlements, committing the heresy of disobedience. Rumor has it that the Foreman clan, in charge of debris removal, is in the ruins of Scipion, associates with these Vandals. We could pass on your words to the renegades by the Foreman, or force them to disclose the location of the rebels' nomadic camps. What is this Foreman clan? It is a union of workers and technomats who used to serve on the lower levels of Scipion, small-scale shift bosses, useful common folk who have proved their worth with diligent labor and valuable knowledge. Of course, they rank much lower than the esteemed merchants, to say nothing of the aristocrats, but the common folk heed their kin, and the foremen have both the authority and the ability to manage them. The Scipions keep to themselves, but the foremen have not shown any signs of disloyalty. They were the first to volunteer to return to the ruins of Scipion 84249 and start clearing the rubble. They are certainly useful and well accustomed to praising the Emperor through their labor. Moreover, their grief at the loss of their home and the resilience with which they have borne it have made them heroes and martyrs in the eyes of other commoners. How do they survive in the wastelands, and why did they reject my rule? It is a rather uncomfortable way of life, your lordship. They are always on the run from acid rains and hurricanes, keeping a decent distance from the hives if they do not plan on raiding at that moment. They get their food from abandoned outposts, paying for it with the lives of those killed by autonomous security systems. Water and promethium are rationed very strictly. They live by marauding, occasionally hunting and plundering, sometimes their own kin, and sometimes the outskirts of the hives. They are a tribe of degenerates and barbarians that is rapidly developing its own clan culture. The civilized residents of the hives shoot the scum any chance they get. Wish to hear what my advisors say, or we could let the foreman negotiate with the Vandals. We can spend some thrones and avoid these problems altogether. If they are so tenacious and militant, let them guard the hives in exchange for a small tribute. Destroy these engine heretics and show them no mercy. Definitely leaning that way, but let's hear my advisors, because usually the advisors give additional better options. If the engine vandals have managed to tame the ancient machine spirits, then that means there are technomats or even tech priests among their ranks. That renders them negotiable. It would be efficient to utilize such renegades instead of disposing of them. A promise of reward for every piece of technology found in the wastelands of Dargonus and returned to the dynasty will ensure their obedience and tractability. That's an option that's not terrible. If you wish to exterminate them, Alantok, do not waste your time on hunting them down. Instead, deceive them into destroying each other. Tempt them with a prize, a weapon, or a trophy that they can fight over. After the Monkey are finished slicing each other up for the right to obtain it, your warriors will finish the deed. This tactic often proves effective against your kind. The aristocrats of Dargonus despise them, but are also secretly afraid of them, correct? Renegades who can invoke such fear. I wonder, had there been such exiles in my house, would their presence have curbed the ambitions of my brothers and sisters? Would they have supported me in case of conflict? Oh, I'm scheming and conspiring right now, am I not? Bravo, Lady Cassia. Do not be ashamed of the unique abilities bestowed upon you by your heritage. They are your birthright. The web teaches to look for the enemy's vulnerability and what drives them. If the enemy is compelled to seek sustenance by attacking your domain, prepare a trap full of poisoned gifts. Let them eat and drink to their heart's content. The poison will weaken them, and then you will strike. So we have multiple ways to kill them, it seems. I don't think we're going to have them threaten the aristocrats. That seems odd. Have them work to acquire lost machines and lost knowledge, I think is valuable. As Cabela says, lay bait and poison them, or spread rumors. So multiple ways of easily finishing them off, which they're currently choosing to rebel, so has value. But no one else is going to find this lost knowledge. So if we've found a group that actually is well suited for it, I think that's a reasonable choice. Pascal, draft a message to the Omniscient Renegades. Let them serve the acquisition of knowledge. May the lost be found yet again. Okay, it drops our profit factor, that's fine. The former servants and serfs of the Omnissiah that are now a part of the Engine Vandals were glad to actively collaborate and redeem themselves in the eyes of the Deus Mechanicus. The common folk did not dare condemn this pact, fearing the menacing priests clad in scarlet. Hive raids have become a rare occurrence. Expeditions are returning from the wastelands with relics that were once lost to the vast plains. The Foreman clan then delivers these relics straight to the dynasty's coffers, which I would think should have been a profit gain for us rather than a profit loss, but what do I know? Oh, it just gives us some security and 4 weapons. Alright. What are we going to do next on Dargonus? So we did Shield of the Emperor. More and more ships arrive around Dargonus. The agreement with the Navy allows the deployment of a permanent dock of warships repositories for the Navy's property. Okay. Genetic mercy, which says that we stop purging people on the planet just so we have more people. Decree on diligence, which costs 3 people. Significantly tighten production quotas, dooming laggards to being processed into corpse starch. Lowers complacency, raises efficiency, and gives us some provisions, specifically just here. Doctrine of Rationality also costs 2 people, raises efficiency also just here. According to the new doctrine, disenfranchised will be servitorized or disposed of through hazardous work. So do we just try and gain more people? Or spend people for more efficiency and food? Or just spend people for more efficiency? I'm going to go with Decree on Diligence, and then maybe we do Genetic Mercy afterwards. So we have more people to justify spending more people. What does this take? Fellowship of the Void or Casablanca Mission? Neither one is a great group that I really want to be super friendly with. Yeah, Diligent. Give me more efficiency, more food, lower complacency, which is fine, I suppose. Okay, and you guys do your thing. Right. We were mid-jump. We wanted to go here. We'll spend 1 point to make it unsafe. And then travel. The steady rhythm of life aboard the vessel was disrupted when, on the 4th watch of the voyage, the lower decks had their gravity reversed. The stunned denizens of the afflicted sectors were woken up by being torn from their assigned beds and tossed onto the ceiling. Numerous injuries and fatalities were reported. The difficulties in performing regular duties due to the gravity reversal continued until the end of the journey. After the ship exited warp, the gravity returned to the accepted norm, an event that once again was accompanied by death and injuries among the crew. The Imperium released us from its grip this time. Yeah, that would be difficult to work with, just suddenly have gravity change. Since, you know, all the cogitator machines to work with are at ground level, and a lot of the rooms in our ship have very high vaulted ceilings. Well, I don't think I want to take on the pirates now. So let's check out these other 2 planets, because the pirates are going to take, I don't know, half an hour to an hour more. Arid world. Let's pick up... Oh, right. I wasn't actually looking at that. I was just like, oh, it's a resource. No, that's setting up extraction. We've already got 6 phlogiston, and I don't want to waste one of my extractiums on a 3 resource spot. Traces of meteorite. Ship's augurs have detected a non-native mineral cluster on the planet's surface, probably the remains of an ancient asteroid shower. The substance is valuable, but collecting it will not be easy. The asteroid sits right above numerous underground caverns. The ancient tunnels and vaults are incredibly unstable and would likely not bear the weight of a large group of humans, let alone a shuttle. Alright, let's take the risk and send a shuttle in. We've got a 100% chance to succeed, so why not? The crew's expertise made it possible to collect the mineral without disturbing the ancient caverns, which has now created a repository of plasteel. 5 is actually a reasonable amount, but we already have 15 just sitting around. So I don't really feel that I need to mine more. At least at this moment. It's there if we need it later. A single provision. We could put down in Extractium to get 1 provision. Yeah, that's definitely not happening. Ooh, another piece of the Architect fragment. We've gotten 2 or maybe 3 of them already. Probably just 2. Oh, and a level up. Let's see. Archaeotech. Yeah, we've got 3 of them. Given their look, I'm guessing there are 4. Because it seems to be roughly a quarter of a piece. So I don't know what happens when we find all 4. And I think I'm going to hold off on this. We'll end the episode by just doing the level ups. So we get a new ability. Anything I've marked that I really want? Apparently Incinerate. Target suffers double the damage of the ignite power and half the fire damage of all the burning creatures within line of sight to the target. Okay, so if we've got a bunch of people burning, then we can just super torch one person. Neat. Sure. Abelard. Till the start of the next turn, Vanguard gains damage deflection against ranged attacks equal to the number of stacks of unyielding beacon on the Vanguard. Additionally, Vanguard becomes immune to push and forced movement. Wall of Rockcrete. Gain temporary wounds. I don't know. We'll go with Bulwark. Why not? We're getting to the point where there aren't a lot of great options I feel are super necessary. Now she doesn't have anything really standing out that I want. Cleansing Faith, I think I've looked at a few times. But you mentioned there's a heavy weapon skill that makes her able to use heavy weapons easier. Reduces the strength value for heavy weapons by 25. That is actually a good call. So we'll give her heavy weapon proficiency. Bounty Hunter's next attack during this turn will have 100% ore penetration and 12% armor penetration. And next attack that hits a target marked as prey is always a critical hit. Guaranteeing a critical is super good. Out of curiosity, so your strength is 30. Heavy weapons now are 25 less. So can you use the heavy bolter that we recently picked up? Where is the heavy bolter? Heavy. Because it's not you. Bolter. Or did I put it into cargo? Because I might have said that no one's going to use it. That sounds like something I would do. How can I see cargo? Here. There's a modified bolter. Or no, just a basic bolter. We did sell a bunch of stuff. It's possible I already got rid of it. If so, that's disappointing. Oh well. I definitely picked it up. But then we did our selling and I might have sold it. If I'd put it in cargo and then sold some of our cargo. Oh well. It's not the end of the world. We'll find other things. Slightly disappointing. For 1 round, all attacks by allies in that area inflict the overwhelmed effect on any enemy that fails a willpower resistance test. Penalties to ballistics, rate of fire, weapon skill. Reduced movement points. All allies within range of 11 cells gain the ability to move to that area. Held in my gaze seems cool. Seems similar to the third eye. But only 1 action point rather than 2. I keep looking at this one because the idea of giving that to Ignatius, so he just gets a bonus 26 to his willpower, just sounds crazy. But Held in My Gaze does sound nice. We'll probably pick that up fairly quickly. For 1 round, the assassin becomes the lowest priority target for enemy attacks and gains the elusive effect. Move through enemies. Gains agility bonus to dodge. More damage. Half cover provides more cover. Sure, we'll go poised to strike. It's fine. Pascal. The executioner gains bonuses to their parameters for each creature, enemy or ally suffering from things. Huge bonus to dodge as we keep lighting people on fire. And giving Pascal more dodge wouldn't be a bad thing. Don't really want people running away from Pascal. No, we'll go Gift of Torment. I think that's fine. And then here... I don't know. Nothing striking me as super critical. Is there Power Weapon Mastery? He already has it. Okay. More dodge? Never tried turning Pascal into a close combat monster yet, but he has some skills to support that. That's the direction I've taken him, is being a close combat character. Ooh. Sweep ability of an axe and the shove ability of a hammer or mace cost 1 less AP. He uses an axe. So maybe making that cheaper feels like it could have some value. Wow, you don't have a ton of options, because we're not looking at just like favorited. This is everything available to her. Just penetrating sight and then the usuals. That's kind of crazy. We'll go penetrating sight, which makes her in my sight's ability slightly better, though I rarely use it. And then claim the bounty is nice, getting an extra free attack. Don't use Jai, so I'm not going to bother leveling her up at the moment. Hammer of the Emperor. All allies affected by Word of the Emperor gain the Hammer of the Emperor effect. Next time they deal damage, the damage is increased by 17, which then removes the effect. All allies affected by Word of the Emperor are healed. Nice. Or regeneration. Till the end of combat, target recovers 6 wounds at the beginning of each turn and removes 1 toxin, stun, immobilized, bleeding, blinded, staggered, or fatigued effect. I think having regeneration available will be nice, though I do like both of those as well. Okay, that's everyone I care about, which apparently is everyone besides Adira and Jai. But we're going to end here. Next time we will head in and deal with the pirates and check out this random planet. But I will leave you guys there. See you next week. Bye.